Riles, without further ado, let's get into another classic JP and the Beans top 5. Set the stage for us here.
Yes.
What's this top 5 all about,
I mean,
Riles?
this was kind of surprising that it took this long to get to.
Agreed.
You know what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this top
Very
5.
weird that we haven't gotten to this topic before.
I feel like this should have been probably day 2. Anyways, it wasn't. I went through all the top 5s. I mean, if you think about it, it was very like, we didn't get into our top 5 heroes until like top 5 number 14. So just think about that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I said, why don't we just do our top 5 superpowers
Mhm.
all time?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I mean, this is a superhero podcast.
Yep.
We talk about comic books all the time.
Right.
We're talking about cool powers. It's an essential part of a hero.
Yep.
Unless you're Batman. So yeah. Let's just get right. I mean, his superpower is money, but I digress. Okay.
Wealth and rage.
What is our yes, that's true. Inventions. So let's do our top 5
Let's freaking do it.
superpowers. Jordan, why don't you kick it off?
Okay, I love it. Now, I chose to approach this from a kind of particular perspective of what superpowers would I enjoy having.
Oh, that's what I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's what I want. I don't care what, like, in general, like, powers, like, oh, yeah, I have
like
to
the
be.
greatest strength.
Oh, yeah, super strength is number 1. No, what do I want?
Yeah.
We pick the selfish decisions. That's what we have to pick. That's our job.
Yeah. But I'm also going to say this is going to be the most, by far, the most fluid of any top 5 I've ever done, where number 5, in other words, could be number 1. Number 1 could be number 5 very easily, because I think these would all be a great deal of fun. Okay. So without further ado, I think that shape-shifting would be a phenomenal power to have.
Yeah, it would be goated.
Phenomenal. And I'm thinking in the the vein of Martian Manhunter, Mystique is an obvious one, Clayface, but particularly if you're going, hey, I want my field of work, the espionage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, sign me up as a super spy, I'm your guy. Or am I a guy? What if I'm something else? I can be anything you need me to be. Incredible.
You Dr. Seussed it for a little bit there, but you did rhyme.
Thank you. So the ability to shapeshift at whim, I think, is a superpower that takes creativity. It takes some real strong intuition, some quick on the toes thinking. And I love that it's not just the physical shape that transforms, but you think of like the various accents, the voice tones, the mannerisms. Because just because you look like a certain person, if you don't behave like that person, you're very different. The people that know the true person very well are going to be thrown off. So you have to nail the idiosyncrasies of that person. So that's what I'm going to say is my number 5, shapeshifting.
Cool.
Yeah.
So my number 5, I picked Spidey Sense. I like the idea of just knowing when danger is around.
Sure.
Prime example, and I think this is arguably one of the best scenes in all of the Spider-Man movies with Spider Sense. Okay, I'm getting my Trump hands going. Honestly, is when Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yep.
When Norman Osborn is no longer there, and it's the Green Goblin persona taking back over. Where Peter's like notices something's wrong, but he doesn't know exactly what it is, and he finally like pinpoints it a little bit, and that's when Green Goblin like makes his move because he's like, oh, he knows.
Yep.
It's brilliant.
It is.
Like, yes, Far From Home, when he's dodging all the things and closes his eyes, and the final fight against Mysterio, that's great too.
Yeah, that's a cool use of that power as well.
But I think it just goes to show how, like, pinpoint accurate that Spider Sense can be, as in, like, oh, it's almost like a metal detector for danger.
Yes.
And so you're just like...
It's an intuition. It's not just a radar.
Right.
As it's deployed, as you said, against Mysterio. It's an intuitive piece.
Yeah. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So I would like to know when things are going off around me. You know, I can dodge a bullet going through the air and just be like, you didn't get me. So that's my number 5.
I love that.
Spider Sense.
That's great. What's your number 4, my guy?
My number 4 is healing factor.
Okay.
Like Wolverine.
Yep.
Like Deadpool without the cancer. But like, I like the idea of losing my arm and it just comes back.
Sure.
Right? Now you get a little bit more. I feel like I'd get a little bit more, like less scared of danger. Like I'd be more willing to be like, let me try that. Arm gone. Well, that didn't work. I feel like I would be more susceptible to that at that point. But it's also like how like you know what I mean? It's just it's handy.
Mm-hmm.
Break a leg, it fixes pretty quickly.
What you did there.
We're on a roll today. But yeah, that's my number 4. I like the idea of like just your body being able to just be at maximum health at like all times.
Right. That right there is the rarely discussed benefit of the healing factor. Is you're not sick. No. You're just healthy. They always as healthy as you could be.
They brought up a point that like Wolverine can't get drunk because his body cures it as it goes through. Right. So he can just drink as much.
Metabolize the alcohol so fast.
It's like awesome. It's like, oh, he can just drink as much beer as he wants.
Right, this is delicious.
That doesn't sound crazy, me saying that out loud. Like, it's great. So it's one of those things you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that either.
It makes you think of how like Andre the Giant. Are you aware of who that is?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yes, I know Andre the Giant.
That was a test and you passed. The stories of him drinking
in the back of the van.
Oh, they're just incredible because he had to consume an just unfathomable volume of alcohol in order to actually eat or feel drunk at all.
Who tells that?
Crazy.
Who told that story? Was it Taker? Somebody was telling this story of Andre was in the back. They stopped to get beer, and he got like 2 24-packs, and he downed all of it on that ride and was fine. And they're like, "How are you not gone?"
One of my favorite Andre the Giant drinking stories is how if he did drink too much and he would pass out on the floor, they just had to leave him there. Yeah. Nobody could move him. He's too big and heavy. Like, we actually can't move this person. We have to wait for him just to wake up and walk off. Just wild stuff. Okay. That's a great pick for number 4. Listen, my number 4 is super speed. Not strictly speaking because of you can run fast. That's fine. All right. But also pretty vanilla. What I have always been more intrigued by is for as terrible as the Flash movie was, and it wasn't good, it had its moments, right, where it showed the creativity of, hey, what does the power of super speed provide for you in terms of other abilities, like the ability to phase through solid objects. That's wild. I remember in the Flash TV show, one of the characters that had super speed used his super speed to just like crush the heart of an adversary, right? Like just reach into. That's freaking dope. That's incredible.
It's terrifying.
It's scary, right? And so I think there's just a lot of creative just additions that come with that ability that I'm like, hey, that'd be pretty sick to have. What would be unfortunate is that, yes, your metabolism is burning so hot that you would need to eat like absolutely crazy. So if you have a phenomenal budget, hey, no problem. You're okay. But
you steal hot dogs.
Sure. Who's going to stop you? Who's going to know?
Nobody.
Going to Pete's Ranch, take the whole tray of chicken. Interesting. This just got even better. Okay, we got a new number 1. But anyway, that's my number 4. Okay.
Oh, dude, I would love Pizza Ranch. Oh. It's been so long.
Oh, it's same. It's been too long. All right, this one I'm going to throw it out there, and I will wholly acknowledge this is far, far too broad, but I'm still kind of percolating on what precise avenue of this ability I would like. Okay, magic. Huge.
Oh, that's so broad.
Too broad.
Top
too
out.
broad.
Top out.
No, I just haven't made up my mind yet. I can't figure out. It's so broad, I'm overwhelmed. But I know that I want it. It's like, okay, so do I want it in the Shazam sense where I'm kind of magic adjacent, but I have this alter ego where I can shoot lightning? Do I want to be an actual freaking wizard? Dr. Fate, he's pretty fantastic.
Except he loses his mind.
Yeah, the drawbacks are pretty significant. Doctor Strange, it's that. Yep, except he fights some really scary things. So do I really want that? I'm not so sure anymore. So, but I'm also very intrigued. Zatanna's fantastic.
So she has to talk backwards all the
She
time.
has to talk backwards, but there's so much potential there.
Yeah.
There's so much potential. I'm just intrigued by the broadness of it. I'm like, I want to dive in and let's go nuts. I would go crazy. I really shouldn't be allowed to do it. So
I think I'd go the Constantine route.
yeah.
I think that'd be the way to go.
Yeah, the Etrian the Demon, like that'd be a great.
Yeah, but you don't get to be the demon. You're switching spots with the demon.
I understand, but let me have it.
Literally, it's the worst because you're like, oh yeah, let me get badass real quick, and then you just sideline.
You're just gone.
I don't even know where he goes.
What intrigues me though is okay, so you take an OP character like Superman, right? Kryptonite is well known as his greatest weakness, except is it? Actually, it's magic. So I love that magic has this way of getting behind and getting beyond the alleged OP superpowered characters. I think that's pretty phenomenal. So vastly too broad. Totally acknowledge that it's ridiculous.
Pop out.
Magic. Wrong.
My number 2.
Your number 3, please.
My number 3. I also said super speed. And one of the things I think about is there's, I don't know what comic it is in, but it's The Flash, and pretty much this apartment building is either on fire, it's falling apart or whatever. He saves everybody out of it, reads really quick how to build an apartment complex, and then rebuilds it within like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So, do you know how fast him and Superman play chess?
Oh,
They play like 100 games in 5 seconds. Like, I think that's just incredible.
yeah.
Like, just
Yeah, your mind starts to break.
And you definitely have to go the speed of the Flash, right? Because eventually, you can also time travel with it.
That's a good point.
If you're on the treadmill.
You brought that up. You're right. You're right.
So, I mean, he goes that fast.
Mhm.
It's just crazy.
Yep.
So, I would take super speed at
That's
3.
great. That's great.
Now, number 2, I also have shape shifting.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I wrote down as Plastic Man because his like elasticity, yes, is like insane.
Yeah.
Very hard to kill. They've said pretty much if he wanted to murder a lot of people, he could.
Right.
I believe in Flashpoint, he is a serial killer.
Mm.
In Flashpoint comics, he is, I think.
Okay.
Don't hold me to that.
He could.
But, like, he's pretty much indestructible from what I understand.
Correct.
So, I like that on top. He's pretty much a cartoon character. Essentially, he's a cartoon character come to life with all the shape-shifting he can do, and he's hilarious. So, that's my number 2, is Plastic Man's powers,
Love it.
specifically. His elasticity. So, that's my number.
I love it. Okay. Listen, I'm not going to get too cute here. I would genuinely love super strength. And I'm not saying the OP where it's like,
This is your number 2?
This is my number 2.
Yes.
Super strength would just genuinely be a lot of fun. Hey, you pick up the card? Okay. Got it. Picked up the card. Move the huge freaking boulder. Done. I just think that's great. Like that ability where, you know, we all have these limitations of strength. What if he didn't? What if he could just go, moved it, no problem. That'd be awesome. That would just genuinely be great. Like, to have the strength of Thor. I'm not talking about like the rage, out of control Hulk. Take Luke Cage, right?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. That would, I don't know why, it just puts me at ease, actually, to have that in my back pocket. That would just be fantastic.
Yeah. The only thing you'd have to think about is the precision. Because there's some precision that goes into it. Like, if you wanted to lift a house,
Sure.
you have to be very careful how you lift a house.
It's going to fall apart.
Yes, exactly. You would crush it, depending on how sturdy the house is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. Yeah. There's nothing more fun than playing a video game, like a superhero video game, and then picking like the Hulk, and then just taking a car and smacking somebody with it.
It's easily like the least nuanced answer I could possibly give on this list, and yet I think also easily one of the most satisfying.
No, it's beautifully simple.
Yeah. So that's my number 2. Is super strength.
Moving would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go pro.
Great number 2.
Go freaking pro. Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you give your number 2 already?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Sorry,
your number 1.
My number 1 is teleportation.
Yeah.
That would just be a blast. Ever since I saw X2 with Nightcrawler, I'm like, that is just the freaking coolest ability that there is. I'm not saying the best, but it is the coolest. The ability to just be in a different place instantly like that. Awesome. And part of what I also enjoy about it is obviously it can be an individual power, but hey, you need to help someone out, bring them with. Just make sure that you're holding hands or you're grabbing their arm or they're grabbing your arm, and congratulations, you got a travel buddy. I think that's great.
I think you'd have to. I think it'd be better if you could go wherever you want.
Sure.
Because Nightcrawler's kind of like
has to see where he's going.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
But yes, teleportation, because it's super speed without the work.
Yes, you're just there.
Yeah, you don't need to go back in time for anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No,
teleportation.
You're gonna mess things up if you go back in time. Right. Don't do it. Don't freaking do it.
Go.
So that's my number one. Teleportation is also on the list. Just gonna throw this out there real quick. Now you should do your number one first, and I'll share it. Didn't quite make the cut here.
My number one is kind of OP, but I have time control.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to like stop time.
Yep.
Whenever I want.
Yep.
Or maybe I can rewind it by like 5 seconds, or fast forward by 5 seconds.
Sure.
Right? Because we've even seen like on a very limited scale what that actually can do. I've watched a lot of shows like that. Right.
Right.
There was an episode of the Batman animated series, not Kevin Conroy, but a different one.
Yep.
And literally Batman fights a guy that can like go back in time by like 5-10 seconds, and like he sees how Batman's gonna go at him, and then he reverses time and like dodges it. Right. And Batman's like, this is a normal dude. He's like, this is a normal dude, how's he doing it? And then eventually he picks up that he can do it. Right? But like, and if you watch JoJo's, it's an anime, JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, the main bad guys all like have time abilities because it's just so overpowered. So like the main bad of like all of it, he can stop time for like 5 to 10 seconds.
Yep.
And it's so funny how he uses it sometimes, but it's also like, oh, he kills you and you don't even register it until, and you're like, how did he even do this?
How did I die?
Like, and you have to be in like a certain range or whatever when he does it. But like, it's actually incredible to like watch it play out, because you're like, what the heck? So I have time control as number one.
I love that. That's really good. The couple that didn't quite make my list, one of them was super intellect. I'm not sure that's really a superpower, but it's in comics constantly. What I like about that is you can create in a certain way, almost any ability. You know what I mean? Like how Reed Richards and Tony Stark. And
I think others. Forge as well.
Sure.
X-Men.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, let me put it this way. I wouldn't be upset if that was my burden to bear. It's like, okay, fine. I'll make an Iron Man suit. Sorry. That was tough. No, I think I can get on board with that. The other one was super hearing in the sense like Daredevil has.
Oh, okay.
Right, where it kind of turned into like the radar sense. I don't really want to hear everything. But again, a very specific kind of espionage related where it's like, hey, I'm trying to sneak in.
You just want to be James Bond.
It keeps coming back to that. It just keeps coming up. Rick.
No, yeah, the ones that I kept thinking about were like fire and ice, like just the element part of it.
Sure.
Right?
Earth.
Like, I guess the Avatar.
Thing planning.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, I guess is where I'm going. And I also just thought of like mind reading would actually kind of be like overpowered.
Right.
In like a normal sense. Be like, so that's what they think.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But no, I would, those were the two that, the elements was like the main one.
Right.
So, yeah.
Totally get it.